Welcome all. Today we're going to look at some exciting AI tools that we're about to release to the site, or in fact, by the time you watch this tutorial, it should be released. The site has, as you know, quite a lot of tools, getting alerts, scanning, but you've got to put certain data in. It doesn't do any sort of automatic analysis. You've got to tell it the numbers, the profits, and what you're looking for, or that sort of thing. So what I've done is I built a couple of tools, additional tools, for us to help us identify bargains and to track really your inventory, collectibles values, or items that you might have yourself. You might want to know what their value and what their value is that changes over time. So there are two new tools being released. One is Stock, or Stock AI, I will call it, where you can take a picture of your inventory and it will identify what's in the picture, log it into Stock, and give it a valuation using AI and some other evaluation tool that I built. Then there's AI Vision, Vision AI, I like to call it, which you attach to an alert that you set up. Generally speaking, you probably assign it to like a bulk lot. So when you're buying a bulk lot, you don't really know what might be in the bulks, but you're looking for bulk deals. You're looking for ones that's got hidden collectibles, hidden rare games, or a rare console, or a console that's going at a decent price, or just pretty much anything. You can attach it to any alert you want, but attaching it to an alert where you're only looking for one product is probably not necessary, because you've already told the system how much you're willing to pay or how much profit you want to make on reselling that item. Those are the two options in the alerts. So what you do with this is you assign this AI vision to an alert. Not only does the alert run as it does normally, sends you an email, tells you the deals it finds, etc., but the AI tool will go away and it will value it and tell you what it found. And we're going to get to that one. That's the most exciting release that I'm doing. All of this, of course, free to all our users on the site, with just a few restrictions we'll talk about as we go through, because the AI tools do cost money. They cost money when you use them, when they read images, or you ask AI a question. You generally have to pay for some of these tools or use credits. So as much as I'm paying, I'm not charging anyone for it, but we're just going to put some restrictions to make sure that we don't overload the system and basically just spend thousands for no reason. So be very cautious. Put it on the things that you really want to see. Get your alert prompting correct, i.e. your filters and your exclude and your include words, because you want to get really what you're looking for, and then get AI to tell you, should I even bother? Should I go in there and buy it or whatever, right? So we're going to do that today. In fact, we're going to move first to Stock. Stock's quite an easy one to start with. So if we move, you'll see in here in Stock. This can be done on the app, any of the apps, because we just released the Google app. So we've got the Apple app, the Google app, the Android app, obviously, and the website. So you've got all the all the apps and all the sites at your disposal. We go into the Stock valuation. What we're going to see in the Stock valuation is just starting with the bottom. You could add a manual item to it if you just want to log your inventory position, and then there's a button you'll see when you do to value the inventory if you want. Then it says, that's not good. I want to take a picture. I've got so many games and so many consoles and so many electronics. I just want to take a picture. I just want it to log it for me as best it can. But a little caveat here. AI, as good as it is when you prompt it with the right questions, the right things, it will sometimes go off track. It will sometimes give you a value that is probably a bit too high, a bit too low, maybe. It will struggle in instances where it doesn't really recognize something. And I found that doesn't have an easy, clear, visible piece of text that says it's a 15 Pro and it looks similar to a 14 Pro or something size wise, it might get it wrong. Right? So don't take it as gospel. Take it as, oh, something to look at. It could this bundle, could this item be something worth money? It will certainly help you identify that without you even having to identify it yourself. In here, we've got these sort of AI prompts, I call them. So the more detail you give it, the better it will be. So in the instance of taking a picture of something that you own, you probably are going to know what it is, right? So if it's one of these things here, or the general, use the general if you like. I mean, I'd be a bit more specific, because if you say retro games and consoles, AI knows it's looking at games and consoles. You say general, AI thinks, I could be anything. Can I work out what it is? It probably will, but it's better to go with whatever you've got. So I'm going to show you an example. So we've got retro games and consoles. I'm going to upload the photo. You can do this, as I said, in the app, etc. Just take a picture and then quickly hit the button, open up your camera, pictures, and then send it in. We're going to send in a picture. You may not see it, just a little bit small on the screen potentially, but it's a bundle of games. Mega Drive. I think there's a few Xbox 360 in there, and I'm keeping it to no more than sort of 20 items. Is probably a nice idea. I wouldn't try and zoom out and load up 100 items. You probably have a bit of inaccuracy there potentially, and you'll probably be overloading the AI with too much information. Try and keep it to a reasonable, and then just go away and do another row, or whatever. The more you show it, the better it is. For games, if I really cared that much, I would open them all up, lay them all out on the floor, showing if there's a manual. So then it's a box, it's a manual, there's a game. That's worth more than if there's a box and just a game without the manual. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not that worried about it. It will still tell me if there's some, what I call banger in there, if there's something worth good money. And it allows me just to just keep an eye on my inventory value, and potentially just find some items I might want to sell. Then you hit scan, goes away, identifies the items, values the items using our valuation tool, and then comes back ready to log it into inventory. You can make some adjustments before it does, and you can always make adjustments after, like if there's a few outliers, you want to change the value. Let's just see what it did. So it's just come up with the list. So it's telling me there's a lot of games, right? And it's saying 13 games. We have the name of all the games. We have the platform of all the games. Obviously, different categories will do slightly different things. The retro games and consoles is one of my very specific niche markets I like to target and be involved in myself. So I've made it a bit more advanced. So we do have the platform, because it's nice to know if you've got Call of Duty 1, 2, 3, and you're missing 4 on the Xbox 360, potentially there's something I might be able to build that's going to identify that for you in the future and say, well, you're missing one of them. Do you want the complete set? And things like that. So it's always useful to have that as a separate piece. So it's identified a load of 360. It's identified a couple of PS3s in there. I didn't realize they were there. And as I said to you earlier, I think there's a bundle of Mega Drives. So the condition, again, it will struggle to know if it's brand new, depending on what it can recognize. But it does recognize if it's sealed. But it errs on the side of caution rather than the side of value everything top condition. Quantity of them, obviously. Do you have a case? Do you have a manual or manual? If you watch some whatnot auctions, you will know what I mean. Do I have the manual? Well, I don't. Now I can add it myself if I know for sure. The reason it didn't, the picture didn't tell it about it. It knew it had a case. They all had a case. You see it in the image maybe, but it didn't know about the manual. So it errs on the side of caution. I'm going to leave it at that. We have a valuation down here. Do I think there's any outliers there? Yes, I probably do. So the worms one looks tad possibly on the higher side. There could be reasons. I think there's some special editions of worms. It's certainly possible that when we're trying to value, it's picking up a slightly higher one. I know that's probably not a true valuation for worms. It's probably more 10 to 15. The other ones, the Street Fighter at 33, probably about right, actually. 17, 16 is probably about right. 34 on Lost, probably wrong on the PS3. But then if you type Lost, into eBay and you search for it or something, the system gets lost, right? Because it's just quite a standard word. It's not really something easily found. So even if it searches for Lost PS3, I'm sure there are many games called Lost PS3 that aren't what this one is, which is of course Lost, the TV show game. There's no way it's worth 34. I might change it in a minute if I fancy it. And then some of these lower price games would make sense. 360s aren't very expensive, etc. So I'm quite happy. It's black labels, as you know. There's a platinum label when it comes to sort of the PS1, PS2, possibly, yeah, PS3. I think, yeah, the PS range anyway. Platinum versions are worth less because it means they've sold 100,000, I think it is, and suddenly they've got this flag now to say, well, it's a platinum. But the thing is, that means anyone made after and sold after is called platinum, has a platinum badge on it, and the ones before black label, and they're actually rarer and worth more money. The platinums are not worth more money. It sounds counterintuitive, but it's actually true. It took me a while to get around, but they're flagged as black label PAL, depending on where you're from. Could say NTSC or something else. This is just in the notes here. I'm going to say, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy. So we're going to add that to stock. We now have this in stock. And now you have a few things. You have value them. You have refresh all up here, which will revalue all the inventory, right? You have history. There's no history because we've just loaded it, right? But when you get these valuations and you run it a few times, you'll see there's a little not bar chart, sorry, a line chart to track the price of the refreshes that you've done. I think the advance allows you to change certain things or filter certain ways. Yeah, and allows you to put the manual valuation override there. I said earlier I might do that there. The exclude words. Really, you can change them, I guess. I didn't realize this was going to be here, to be honest with you. This just means when it values it, it's not taking into account broken stuff. It's actually believing it's used. If you are, for some reason, doing some sort of broken stuff, you could potentially do something there. But I think when you're looking for bundles of stuff that is broken to fix, you're actually looking at what is the value after I fixed it. And then when you see the difference in the value, you'd be like, okay, I can fix it for 20 quid. So I can make 100 quid, etc. Then you see that is in inventory there. And voila, we have AI inventory in stock with a total value 260.62. You can delete history, value, etc. Done. Excellent. Try that on anything you like. This tool's free. I don't think I put any restrictions on the stock AI, and you can add manually and make some edits. Perfect. Now, AI vision. What is AI vision? When you enter an AI vision, it's going to probably say you've got nothing, no prompts. So we're going to start with what is a prompt? And then before you go assigning to alerts, you need to know what a prompt is. So we're going to create a prompt. What is the prompt name? Let's call it consoles. I can't even remember what I do with these prompts. Oh yeah. No. Let's do PS1 rare games or something like that. Minimum profit. Now this is different to your alert profit that you may have set up, right? Now we're saying the tool's going to value a bundle. For it to be worth it, how much do you really want to make on purchasing a bundle on a job lot? Of course, you can leave it at 0 if you want, if you don't really care. Put it as just 10 just to make sure. So I'm going to put, let's say, I want to make 20. Got to be worth my time. Again, could be a bundle of anything. Just bear in mind, some of these things are easier for AI to recognize, some are not. Pokemon cards is a tricky one because, as we know, a lot of the value comes down to grading, etc. Then who grades it, and then condition. It does look at all those things as best as it can to decide what card it is, etc. It will do quite well at recognizing the cards. If you've got a bundle and they're all together and it can't see them, then it's not going to be able to do those sorts of things, right? So just bear that in mind, okay? So we're going to go retro games. Banger. What a banger value. Banger means one item that's found in here should be above this value. Let's say anything over £20, I'm going to class as a banger, right? All it does really is highlights the banger to you at the top, says this is a banger, this one is of substantial value. And it makes it easier if you then go away and go, is that actually true? You know, if I got something in it that's worth a lot of money, that at least that one item alone could cover the cost of the whole job lot. And then you would save it. I'm not going to actually hit save because I've got a couple already and we'll just use those. So we'll cancel there. So that's all you do. You say, how much do I want to make? What category is it? And how much is the banger? And give it a name. So what I've done many times before, video games AI, bangers over 30 I want to know, but I want to make at least £30 in the retro games and consoles area. That's what I did before. We go to the alerts. As you might know, you can do a reseller alert or a normal best price alert. Most likely with job lots, etc., you won't be looking for the reseller, which looks at profitability, because that didn't at that point have any AI technology. So the easiest thing to do is just create a new alert. When you're creating an alert, you will see that you can add Vision AI. So we'll say, what do we do? PS1 games AI. We will leave some of this, or PS1 game max. This is where I don't care about the max value, right? Minimum price, I don't care either. Must include, yes, absolutely. PS1, maybe game, but who puts game in the title, yeah? So you might not. Certain things like that. Job lot, bundle, right? Separate by a comma means that as long as one of these matches, it'll show. Always put exclude or includes in, right? And then we might exclude some stuff. As we go down, we're setting up our normal stuff. How often do I want it to run? Not always every 10 minutes. Do I want bins and auctions? Absolutely. In this instance, I do, because an auction, to me, a bundle auction will be generally what people will do. They're not going to sell a bundle with a fixed price. They're going to sell it in an auction and have someone calculate how much it is and try and pay them the best amount. And then, of course, the auction window. You've got all the normal stuff. Filter by condition. You can just look for certain users. You can exclude sellers. You can make only offers, collection, pickups only. Could be a big box. And then you'll see this new box. And within this new box, you can assign it your prompt that you set up. Then you create the alert. Now, what will happen? The alert will run as normal. So any bundles it finds, job lots it finds, under the 5,000 I'm trying to set up here, it will send me. So I will get loads on my initial alert, and then I'll start getting less. Then what's going to happen in the background is that's going to fire off. It's going to fire off to AI when an alert comes in. So you can see I've got quite a lot of alerts here. Some of these have AI triggered. You can see the little icons. So I'm saying video game bundles, vintage honeypot consoles, Pokemon cards, although I've turned the Pokemon one off, and job lots down here. So a lot of job lots and bundle type stuff I'm looking for. I'm going to get an alert when they come through as normal. But I'm probably not going to worry too much about the alert. I like to have the alert. But I'm probably going to say, let's go in the app. Let's go on the site. Let's go into the AI Vision tab. Let's have a look. What do we got? We have miscellaneous games bundle, 11 games, Xbox 360, PC, PS2, extras. This is going to have a load of stuff in it, right? AI might recognize all of it. It may not. We're going to open. It says there one banger, £75 profit, currently running at 16.38. It appears to be a buy it now. And there's 14 items it found. So open up the results, and then you see. So it's telling me the Lara Croft Tomb Raider Legend Black Label boxed case only assumed, which means it can't see the manual. Xbox 360 valued at 33. And then all the other games here, excluding some normal stuff or some stuff it couldn't actually value or find. I'm not 100% sure why it couldn't find these. Maybe there are no records to be able to find any sales. I mean, some of these games, because they're PC, they're probably worth pretty much zero. Right? So, again, erring on the side of caution. Things like Need for Speed and Call of Duty and FIFA are, let's be brutally honest, worth zero. Why? Because there were millions and millions and millions of them made and sold, and you can just get them everywhere. So it errs a little bit on the side of caution when it comes to some of those things, but some of these other things have come through and valued. I can't believe a magazine is valued, but it did. You see this? It says loose. So if it sees a CD on its own or a cartridge on its own, it is going to flag it as loose. We're going to use that to probably devalue it somewhat and get a valuation for the loose disc rather than a boxed version. Again, console condition comes into play. Various things come into play. It can only know so much, though. So, like I said, use it as guide. Let's have a look at the second one. This one, buy it now, PS2. It's currently out for $37.99, including postage. 73 profits, 17 items. And then we're going to make 35. Not making a big deal there. I personally would up it, but I just like seeing more alerts at the moment. But I would personally up the profit a little bit, because, and it's got one banger. So let's have a look at the results. We see there's one banger, Special Forces PS2 Black Label boxed. Don't know if there's a manual. So if there is a manual, well, that could be worth 50, 60. If in fact that game is rare or worth what the AI tool has suggested it is, right? Now, as I said, I cannot guarantee the accuracy, but I can tell you it's pretty good. It's pretty good. As good as I can get it at the moment, and we will continue making it more intelligent as time goes by. And then you can see that is a lot of items it found there. But of course, it valued some of them. As I said to you, some of the non-rare, millions and millions of them created EA games, sports games, Call of Duty games, and it's valued them at zero on purpose. If you try to sell them, you probably pay more in postage than it's worth. Someone might buy it for £1, and that's what it does. I haven't got any more at this point, but you get the point. You come in, you see them. I'll consider sending alerts out for this if people start using it. But I think it's be nice. Come in the site, you can open this up. It's probably a little bit too much information just to chuck in an email or chuck in a Telegram post. I think I'd leave it on the site for the time being. If you don't like these deals, personally, I don't like these deals, you can always clear the ones. You can clear manual, clear auto. Manual means you ran your own scan and you've ticked it on, and clear auto just means these are the automatic alerts that come through. Just to show you the actual scan. So in the scan where you do your manual scan, you now have the choice as well to turn on the AI and run your own manual scan. Please try and do it, with some filtering and some stuff so you do not end up with hundreds. What I can tell you, the restrictions on this tool. First of all, one profile running or one search can come back with loads of alerts, right? I'm limiting it initially to only run 10 of them. So if you end up with 200 alerts coming through, it's going to run 10 of them. It doesn't know which one really, so it'll probably take the first 10. Also going to limit it initially to 50 per day, which is a substantial amount. So we can see how it goes. And the more you click on eBay links, the more you purchase through the links, etc. I'll just increase that and allow it. It's just a way of sort of maintaining it, allowing everyone to use the tool, and the people that are actually following through and using the tools for what they're here for, purchasing stock, etc. We'll just opt those, and no problem. We're never going to charge for these tools, even though it costs. And then hopefully that will give you some great tools, and you'll be able to make some good money. I personally have found quite a few bundles where there are rare games in it that nobody knew about, and or there's consoles that are valued a large amount of money, even if they were broke when it came from the alert. I knew how much money I was going to make out of it. Little disclaimer, little caveat. I'm going to say it one more time. AI can get things wrong and will get things wrong. The valuation may be correct on some occasions. It may not. If it's something extremely rare, we cannot value it. Again, like I said, it could come up with some random numbers, but I can tell you, it's pretty good for this day and age, and for a free tool, it's pretty good. And I hope you liked it. And by all means, send any comments. If you find something drastically wrong or is not able to find items or something like that, just send a message in the contact form or an email or anything you want. Just let us know. I can always, tweak the settings somewhat and tweak some of the AI prompting and make it better. But as I said, the focus initially was on the retro consoles and games, some of the technology, the Pokemon cards, etc., trying to make them the best. There are other ones there like the sneakers or the trainers, actually, which would be a nice one to target. So when I start getting heavy use or people start using it, just fire it over. Oh, this is not as accurate as I think it should be because the image was good, but actually, it really didn't recognize it, and I will sort that out, and it will then over time we'll have it much better. So user input, user feedback, very important. I appreciate you for using the tools. Continue using them, and we will continue building solutions and hopefully making people money. We'll speak soon.